When I first saw you, time hesitated, like the world exhaled and everything else blurred but your face. You weren't just a stranger in a crowd, you were the reason my heart suddenly beat a little louder, a little faster, as if it recognized something my mind hadn't yet caught up to. The light hit you just right, casting gold through your hair and painting your skin in stories I wanted to read. There was no thunder, no grand cinematic music, just a quiet, unshakable knowing. A gravitational pull drew my gaze again and again, refusing to look away. And in that suspended moment I wondered if the universe paused too, if the stars held their breath above us. I didn't know your name, but somehow I knew your soul. I didn't know where we'd end up, but something inside whispered that this was the start of everything. My thoughts betrayed me, rushing forward into futures we hadn't even dreamed yet. I stood still, watching you smile at something or someone else, not knowing that in the silence between us, something eternal had just begun. I tried to act normal, to look away, to ground myself in reality, but your image followed me like the echo of a favorite song. Every detail became etched in my memory, how you tucked your hair behind your ear, how your eyes scanned the world like you were constantly searching for something more. I wanted to be what you found. Each movement of yours played like poetry, and I became a reader of your every gesture. I wasn't looking for love that day, but love found me anyway. It dressed itself in your laugh, in the way your shoulders relaxed when you felt safe. I caught myself smiling at nothing, haunted by the warmth of a presence I hadn't even spoken to, and still, I felt closer to you than to anyone I'd ever met. I whispered your imagined name in my mind, creating 1,000 conversations we hadn't had, just so I could feel what it might be like to know you. What strange magic that the heart can leap towards someone without permission, without logic, just pure, undiluted wonder. Days passed, but you stayed. In quiet moments and loud ones, your image drifted through my thoughts like a soft tide I couldn't hold back. The world moved on, but some part of me remained in that first glimpse. I began to wonder who you were beneath that smile, what made you laugh uncontrollably, what made you cry in secret. I imagined your favorite songs, the dreams you dared not say aloud. Every unknown about you became a puzzle I wanted to spend a lifetime solving. Friends noticed the shift in me, asked where my mind had gone, and I smiled, unsure how to explain that a single look had rewritten my world. There's a kind of peace in that longing too, a silent devotion to something sacred and unknown. It was more than infatuation, more than a passing thought. It was like my heart had woken up from sleep, and only now remembered how to feel fully. In the garden of my imagination you bloomed wildly, relentlessly, and though we had not spoken yet, I began to believe fate had already written your name in the margins of my heart. Eventually the moment came when we spoke. Brief, fleeting words carried on a current of nervous energy. I barely remember what was said, only how it felt like every nerve in my body had turned toward you. Your voice was softer than I imagined, and warmer too. You laughed once, and I thought I might never recover. It was a sound that felt like sunrise, dissolving every shadow I didn't know I'd been living with. We talked about small things, music, the day, the weather, but beneath it all something vast stirred, something ancient. The way you listened made me feel like I mattered, like even my smallest words deserved space in the world. I watched the way your eyes sparkled when you were curious, the slight crease in your brow when you thought deeply, and I wanted more. Not just more time, but more of you, your truths, your fears, your dreams. That day the veil between us thinned. It wasn't love yet, but it was everything that leads to it. A new chapter began in our book, and I could feel the pages turning beneath our feet. As days turned to weeks, we found ourselves wrapped in each other's rhythm, like a song we both knew without ever hearing it before. You became the reason I looked forward to mornings, the thought I fell asleep holding close. Your voice became the soundtrack to my laughter. Your silence is the echo of my own longing. We learned each other slowly like a dance, sometimes awkward, sometimes seamless, but always genuine. I learned how you needed space to think, how you laughed when nervous, how you always wanted people to feel safe. You learned how I retreat when overwhelmed, how I find comfort in silence, how I write poems I never show anyone. And with each reveal, each vulnerability, we grew closer. We began to create a world just for us, tucked inside glances and shared moments where the rest of the world melted away. I started to dream in your colors, to breathe in your presence as though you were my gravity. Loving you didn't feel like a decision, it felt like remembering something I'd always known. It was inevitable, like moonlight, like tides. But love, true love, is not just moments of beauty. It's also built in the mundane, in the waiting, in the compromise, in the storms that pass and sometimes linger. We faced our share, misunderstandings, missed calls, the quiet ache of distance, emotional and otherwise. Yet even in conflict, I never doubted us. Even when words hurt and silences grew heavy, I held on to the truth of you. Because love isn't always sweet, it's also strong. It's the choice to stay, to fight not against each other but for each other. You taught me patience, how to listen not just to words but to what's left unsaid. And in turn I tried to become the person you deserved. We grew not always perfectly, but together. And somehow through every high and low, I found more reasons to love you. I loved the way you never gave up, even when you were tired. I loved the way you held me when I didn't know how to ask. I loved you not for who I wanted you to be, but for who you truly are. Now when I look at you, I still see that first moment, but layered with every second that followed. You are no longer a stranger in a crowd, you are my home. The depth of my love for you cannot be measured in words, but I will try, again and again, because you deserve to be reminded every day. You are the poetry in my prose, the stillness in my chaos. You are the dream that stayed when I woke up. Every time you smile at me I feel that original wonder, that initial spark, but also something more mature, more rooted. We've shared seasons now, built memories that won't fade with time. We've learned each other's scars, and still choose to hold each other close. That to me is everything. You once were a wish I dared not speak. Now you are my truth. And as I say your name I feel gratitude swell in my chest. Thank you for being you, for arriving in my life like dawn breaking after a long cold night. If I had to relive my life 1,000 times, I would choose you every time. Even if it meant starting over, not knowing where it would lead, just to find you again, in some corner of the world. I would endure every fear, every heartache, every uncertainty, because the moment our eyes met, it was all worth it. You became my compass, guiding me home with a glance. And even in the moments when I faltered, when I doubted myself, your love remained steady. You never tried to change me, only helped me become more myself. That's the rarest kind of love, the kind that heals, that builds, that endures. So when I hold your hand now, I don't just feel seen against you. I feel history, I feel battles won, and dreams realized. I feel battles won, and dreams realized. I feel a lifetime ahead, waiting to be lived. And no matter where life takes us, know this, I saw you once and knew you were the one. And now I see you again, and I choose you. Not just today, but always. We've made a language of our own, words only we understand, jokes only. We've made a language of our own, words only we understand, jokes only we find funny, moments only we think. I've memorized the way you breathe when you sway, the way you get quiet when something's on your mind, and I love it all. Even your flaws feel like home to me, like familiar songs I sang there. That's the thing about deep love, it isn't blind. I see you clearly, and I love you fully. I love your strength, and I love your softness. I love how you challenge me, and how you let me rest. I've written 100 lines for you, and still it's never enough. Because you're not just a part of my story, you are the story, the arc, the plot, the reason. When I first saw you, I didn't know what would follow. But now having lived it, I can't imagine another path. You've made my life a richer, brighter place.